I'm Mary Ann Button, producer of Shopping for Jesus. I'd like to introduce you to a really great teacher of mine. He goes to our parish. His name is Mr. Vic Scaravilli. He's going for his master's degree in theology from Franciscan University in Steubenville, and he's still pursuing his degree. In the meantime, though, he teaches classes. He teaches RCIA, a Bible study, and this particular class, Shopping for Jesus, is an apologetics class. And it's based upon a story that he's written. And to give a little history behind the filming of this class, before I review the story with you, know that we're actually, episode 1 is starting sort of in about the 3rd or 4th class. It didn't occur to me to actually take any of my classes because I bought my camcorder for a totally different purpose. But when I saw on YouTube that there was just one YouTube channel, it has 91 anti-Catholic videos. And this is my response. This is our response, actually, from St. Pius X Catholic Church in Klamath Falls, Oregon. We're in the Diocese of Baker, and just our parish is full of a bunch of really great Catholics, and I love them all. I love my parishioners. They're so wonderful. And so you'll not only see in Vic's class commentary from Vic, but you'll also see some of my fellow parishioners who are actually in and of themselves quite brilliant. And as far as Vic goes, I apologize for my filming skills during the first 3 to 4 episodes maybe, because I was chasing Vic with my camera, and I discovered that filming Vic is like filming a wild animal in his natural habitat. So, so what you got to do when you're filming wildlife is pull back with the focus, and so I won't be so back and forth and up and down because Vic is all over the place. So you'll be less seasick after about episode 4 or 5. Okay, now I'd like to read you Vic's story up to the point where we are in the class, Shopping for Jesus. A young couple was introduced to Christianity by some friends and decided to consider this new way of life. So, not knowing what else to do, they opened the phone book to find a church to attend. To their amazement, there were hundreds of different churches in the Yellow Pages, all claiming to be Christ's true church. After contemplating which one to attend, the couple agreed to undergo a search in order to determine for themselves where they should go in order to have a relationship with Jesus and follow his teachings. The young lady said, "It's absolutely essential that we know all about Christ and what he taught before we totally commit our lives to him. If we do not have all the details of Christ and what he stands for, we will not be able to fully live our lives as his faithful disciples." The man was confused because he did not know how to accomplish this task. He said, "This is going to be an overwhelming project. I did not know how we were going to even start this process of learning about Christ." "Why, that's easy," said the woman. "It's just like cooking. All we have to do is get all the correct ingredients, and then we know when they are all mixed properly together, the desired results will be obtained. And," she added, "if God is really who he said he is and can do all that he claims he can do, we need to know all about him and not just parts of his teaching in order to be a complete Christian. It's essential to have all of the components and then use them in the way they were intended to be used in order to make a proven dish. Just like cooking, if one or more of the ingredients are missing or if they are not used properly, then the outcome will fall short of its full potential." "Well," the man said, "I sure do not want to be shortchanged in my having all the ingredients in the proper amounts in my understanding of Christ. We also should not be caught up in consumerism where we pick and choose what we think is best for us, but rather follow what God has revealed and how he wants us to follow him. But how are we going to do this?" "That's easy," the lady said. "All we have to do is go to the recipe book and see what it tells us." So they both began to read the ultimate recipe book that would explain all the ingredients they needed to know about being a Christian. And the recipe book they began to study was the Bible. Before the couple began to gather the ingredients, they first had to determine the dish or the essential reason for wanting to become a Christian. They concluded the ultimate reason is eternal salvation. The couple's initial task is to find the recipe that would give them all the ingredients that would tell them about how to live in fellowship with Christ on earth and later in heaven. Once the ingredients are found, Their next task is to find a church that has all the ingredients. They will then go shopping for Jesus and his church. God's salvation plan is the main recipe in the Bible. Salvation is a free gift God offers to every person without exception. Ephesians chapter 2, verse 8 through 9. We cannot do anything to earn it because it is totally God's gift to us if we have faith in him and receive his grace. This is what gives us hope in an eternal relationship with the Father. Now that the essential recipe is known, we need to identify the central ingredient. What is the main component that binds all the other ingredients together in our faith? God, during the course of salvation history, spoke to us through men so we can know how we would reconcile man back to him. Hebrews chapter 1, verse 1 through 2. It was through Christ that we would know the fullness of God's plan of salvation. Jesus, by example and teaching, was the way in which the ultimate plan of God's salvation would be known to his people. Christ's teachings were credible because he was God's truth. John chapter 1, verse 17, John chapter 14, verse 6. When shopping for Christ and his church, we must begin our search, looking for the main ingredient of our faith. Only when this ingredient is known and understood can it be used as a building block in our recipe. We can do this by understanding the basic gospel message. And Vic refers to this often, and if you hear the acronym BGM, that's the basic gospel message. And that is found in Acts chapter 2, verse 22 through 39, Acts chapter 3, verse 12 through 16, Acts chapter 4, verse 8 through 12, Acts chapter 5, verse 29 through 32, Acts chapter 10, verse 34 through 43, Acts chapter 13, verse 16 through 41. This is what was initially preached to non-believers in order to teach them about salvation through Jesus Christ. The essential ingredient and the foundation of Christianity is Jesus Christ, and the necessity to know about him and have a personal relationship with him. It is through Jesus Christ that salvation comes to the whole world. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 9 through 10, 1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 5 through 6, Acts chapter 4, verse 12. There is no other way. We must beware of following those who preach a gospel contrary to what Christ taught. Galatians chapter 1, verse 8 through 9, 2 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 13 through 14, 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 1. Initially, we must believe and accept the basic gospel message. The absolute foundation of Christianity defines who Christ is and what he did for us in order to offer the free gift of salvation and what we must do to accept this free gift. Once we have this essential ingredient, we must not stop there. Christ is the main ingredient in our recipe to eternal salvation, but God has revealed much more to us in order for us to experience his love and grace in abundance. Here, Vic starts out each class with a joke, just to lighten things up and get things going. Then we have prayers, and prayers usually go on for quite long. I'll probably edit most of that out, just for brevity. And then he'll ask us, the audience, if we've done our homework assignment. And Vic has our homework assignment to us to do something to expand the body of Christ, to further the body of Christ, besides going to Mass on Sunday. Do something in addition, once a week, twice a week. And so sometimes people will raise their hand and sort of do a show and tell with their homework story. So if you hear him mention his homework assignment, that's what he's referring to. One more thing, Vic attends 3 churches. He attends St. Pius X Catholic Church, Sacred Heart Catholic Church, and he attends his wife's evangelical church. And he always fulfills a Sunday obligation. Sometimes he'll go to both churches on Sunday as sort of an ecumenical thing. But his wife is in RCIA this year, so we're hoping that she joins the flock soon. And without further ado, I introduce you to Mr. Vic Scaravilli, starting with episode 2.